your hosts, Tim Weisberg and Matt Foster.
Good evening and welcome to Spooky Southcoast. Tim Weisberg here, along with, I can say it now this week, the silent assassin Matt Costa is back in the studio. Welcome back, man.
Here.
And so, he's been here all along. I don't think he's gone home since last week. But,
how'd you make out?
Usually like this. We survived. We made it. I mean, we had...
I believe it. I had done this.
There was a few weeks when, well, I assume you were listening. Watching on Spooky TV at SpookySouthcoast.com.
Believe it or not, I did not have service most of the time.
I'm not surprised. But, yeah, no, we made it all right. I mean, there was a couple shows that went really well. Then the last week's show happened. Which, we had a lot of technical problems. So, mostly my fault. So, how was the trip?
It was good. It was good. It was a good time.
So, you started here in Massachusetts,
Yep.
and you went on a southern swing.
Yep. To Louisiana, to the French border, and then made a beeline for San Diego, and then all over the place in California.
And then you came back up a more northerly route, more across the middle.
Yeah. And I was telling Coneys on the ride, I'm not a big fan of Central America. But
Central America is part of our biggest audience.
not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just not my cup of tea.
The middle of America loves Spooky Southcoast. Mainly because they have no idea
I
what's
almost brought you guys a tumbleweed.
A real tumbleweed?
I had a real tumbleweed.
It
And
fell
it was
out
in
of
the back of my
truck.
It was in the back of my truck, and the wind blew, went tumbling.
I was a little
And
concerned for you.
I just let it. I wanted to be free. So
I was a little concerned for you while you were gone.
but
Because while you're out there, there's like wildfires and mudslides in California. There's tornadoes happening across the middle of the country.
yeah, I heard that the other day.
And it's just you guys and a red Toyota pickup.
Toyota makes fun of
And so Monday morning you'll be just leaving it on the side of the road somewhere, or trading it in. All right, well, welcome back. We're glad to have you back. And you were definitely missed, especially when I kept saying the silent assassin Matt Costa after each and every break and intro. It's happened, man. 7 years. So we are here to talk about the paranormal, as we are each and every Saturday night. Of course, if you want to ask some more questions about my emotional effects, that's good. But we have some guests in the studio with us tonight. If you're watching on Spooky TV at SpookySouthcoast.com, you'll see we got a packed house tonight. And we have a packed show tonight, because first we're going to be talking, we're going to kick around some new stuff here at the beginning. We're going to talk with Ryleigh and Stephen Black of Cross Paranormal, who are here in the studio, fresh from the Ocean State Paracon. They'll tell us a little bit about that. And we're going to talk with them about their investigations, and especially their investigations into Slater Mill, which next Saturday night, myself and Matt Moniz will not be here, because we'll be at our graveyard shift event from Legend Trips. And Matt Costa will be holding down the fort with Chris Balzano. Their guest will be Derek Gunn. Hey, you know who else I think is coming on next week too, Matt Costa? One of the captains from Wicked Tuna. Oh, that's right. And you've been gone for It's a new show on Nat Geo, the National Geographic Channel. Yeah, it's about some New England fishermen who go out and catch big tuna. And big tuna are big money. I didn't realize. You know, they can go out there and hook a $30,000 for that. And it's amazing. So one of the captains is probably going to be joining us here on the program, so you and Chris will have a chance to talk about it. Do me a favor, ask him if he'll take us out tonight. Okay. Because I'd like to go out there and see it. I want to see a tuna in its natural environment instead of an tuna. Yeah. And I do have one question that you have to ask for him. Ask him if, all politics aside, does dolphin just taste better? I have to know. All right, somewhere, Big and Mel is cursing my name.
Could be a lot of names.
If she's at Slater Mill next week, I'm dead. But everybody's going to be at Slater Mill next week. Spooky Crew, Jeff Belanger. We have Keith and Carl Johnson are going to be there. Psychic medium Pam Padalano, spirit medium Tiffany Rice, Andrew Lake of Greenville Paranormal Research, and our special guest that we announced over the course of the past week, Amy Bruni from Ghost Hunters, will be stopping by the event as well. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, just go to legendtrips.com or SpookySouthcoast.com too, and you can purchase your tickets. There's only a few left. You definitely want to get those. And we're going to be doing a live taping of 30-odd minutes, so the oddball crew will be there. It helps that 3/4 of the show is already going to be there. And the other quarter doesn't live that far away. So we'll do that as well. But that is next week. We'll maybe try to call in and check in during the program as well, if you'll have us on. That'll be a chance to get like 4 or 5 weeks of missing the trail off the chest. You'll own the AOAs. All right. Well, before we get into everything, let's talk a little bit of some of the weird things that happened over the course of the week. We get the week in weird music.
It's been so long.
All right. We can go without it. Don't worry. Here's a very interesting story that I'm sure came across your plate this week, Coneys. Organizers of the London Olympics approached the Who's manager to inquire about having Keith Moon play in an Olympics event, despite the drummer being dead for nearly 34 years. I emailed back saying Keith now resides in Golden Greer's crematorium, having lived up to the Who's anthemic line, "I hope I die before I get old," the band's longtime manager Bill Herbishley told the Times. "If they have a round table, some glasses, and candles, we might contact her." Yeah, Mike Markowitz is here to try the Death Sauce. Oh, we forgot to mention the Death Sauce Challenge. Let me just throw that out there. We are actually having tonight, live here in the studio, we have Jason Morey of Southcoast Coneys, and he brought the Death Sauce, the legendary Death Sauce from Southcoast Coneys, down here to the studio. So you can come down here and sample this if you're brave enough. Just come on down to the studios at 22 Sconket Neck Road in Fairhaven, knock on the window, and we will send out some Death Sauce to you. And we're actually going to try it ourselves coming up in just a little bit as well. That's cheesy.
Yeah.
Nope, we're taking it straight on.
I'm a win.
We're taking the burn straight on. All right, so what do you think, Matt Moniz? Keith Moon died in 1978, and kind of made big news back then. It's kind of been something people have known about for many years. Do you think somebody on the Olympic Committee would have realized this? Crap on the sport. I think it'd be awesome if he did decide to show up. Unlike Axl Rose tonight at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, there's no way he's going to show up. But if Keith Moon showed up to the Olympics, that'd be pretty awesome. Come on in, guys. All right, so we are. Why don't we just move on? This next story is very interesting to me, to anybody that follows the paranormal. There's actually a couple in New Jersey, Toms River, New Jersey, who moved into a house, and they didn't stay very long before paranormal activity started happening. They actually want to get out of their lease now. They want their deposit back. So there's actually a couple of different New Jersey groups that have been working with them to investigate the haunting. We're actually trying to get a hold of some of these groups and see if we can get them to come on the show. So I will hold off comment on that until we can actually speak to them one-on-one. But that's a very interesting case because it's similar to what happened with the Amityville Horror when we found out about that after the fact. Now we're hearing about this from the start. It'll be interesting to see where that goes. All right, so where should we go from here? We want to take a break? Yeah, we're going to need to take a break. And when we come back, we'll reset a little bit. We'll talk with Ryleigh and Stephen Black of Black Cross Paranormal about their investigations, about Slater Mill, about a whole bunch more. And we've got people here in the studio to try the Death Sauce. All you good people. And you can come down as well. Just come on down to the studios at 22 Sconket Neck Road in Fairhaven, right in the same building as Fun 107 next to the 99. You can come on down and try it too. And we're going to try it later on as well. We'll be right back with more here on Spooky Southcoast.
Crave the refreshing taste of iced tea. Twisted Tea wants to know, after mowing the lawn, at a barbecue on a really hot day, think about that same satisfying glass of iced tea, but with a kick. Twisted Tea is a hard iced tea that's made from beer, but tastes like real iced tea. Nothing satisfies like an ice-cold Twisted Tea. The next time you and your friends are looking for some refreshment, but you need a little kick, grab a Twisted Tea. The refreshing hard iced tea that tastes like real iced tea.
Cincinnati, Ohio, responsibility.
this is becoming a huge racial firestorm. We've spoken many times about the double standard in the media about race. I think we better be very careful with this. I think we better be sure to try to get this right. Get it right. Right here, the Mike Gallagher Show. Listen.
The Mike Gallagher Show, every weekday at 9 on AM 1420 WBSM.
Hey, when do you crave the refreshing taste of iced tea? Twisted Tea wants to know. After mowing the lawn, at a barbecue, on a really hot day, think about that same satisfying glass of iced tea, but with a kick. Twisted Tea is a hard iced tea that's made from beer, but tastes like real iced tea. Nothing satisfies like an ice-cold Twisted Tea. The next time you and your friends are looking for some refreshment, but you need a little kick, grab a Twisted Tea. The refreshing hard iced tea that tastes like real iced tea.
Twisted Tea, Cincinnati, Ohio, responsible.
Son, can you hand me that big screwdriver?
This one, Dad?
No, that's a wrench. I need the long one close to your foot.
Why?
Because I need to loosen the screw.
Why?
Because I have to change the oil filter.
Why?
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
All right. Now pass me the new filter.
Why?
Very funny.
Take time to be a dad today.
For more information, dial 1-877-432-3411 or visit us at www.fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Thanks for asking, but I'd rather not send you nude pictures. I'm camera shy. I already said no. It's against my religion. I'm giving my dog a bath, you can have pictures of that. Pressure gives me hives. Under my clothes, I'm a robot. Hold on, let me ask my mom. Sorry, my webcam is broken. I'm worried they'll get passed around school. Unfortunately, I just had my clothes surgically attached to my body. If they got out, I might never be president. I'm already naked, under my clothes. Not even if you were all three Jonas Brothers. I have a rash. I have nudophobia. I have lizard skin. The more you ask, the less I want to. You're not the boss of me. Nudity makes me vomit. I'm a vampire, so I don't show up in pictures anyways. Your badgering has really killed the mood.
When someone is pressuring you to do something you don't want to, how many ways can you say no before they get the message? Let us know at that'snotcool.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
AM 1420 WBSM and the Seaport Inn and Marina invite you to an incredible evening of psychic fun. On Friday the 13th, it's the ladies-only psychic party, hosted by John Stetson. Experience this lively and fascinating show, delivered by John Stetson, with his distinctive style of humor, intensity, and compassion. John Stetson is known worldwide and has performed for presidents, celebrities, and has appeared on CNN, CBS, NBC, and on the A&E network. Tickets for the ladies-only psychic party, hosted by John Stetson, are limited and available now at the Seaport Inn and Marina in Fairhaven.
Captain Eric Lawrence was training Afghan soldiers when his truck was hit by an IED.
I sat home alone for months. I didn't want that anymore. Maybe helped me write my resume, got me a job interview, and got the job.
Paralyzed Veterans of America. Changing lives, building futures. To learn more, visit PVA.org. A public service message from Paralyzed Veterans of America.
This is the story of Daniel, who was born 2 months early. His lungs weren't ready. His heart wasn't ready.
welcome back to Spooky Southcoast. Tim Weisberg here. I don't think that guy's here for the Death Sauce Challenge.
No, I think you would die if you had some of that Death Sauce Challenge.
Welcome back to Spooky Southcoast. Tim Weisberg here, along with the silent assassin Matt Costa, science advisor Matt Moniz, and a whole room full of cool people. And you can come on down, 22 Sconticut Neck Road, Fairhaven, knock on the window. We'll send the Death Sauce out to you. Jason Morey's here from Southcoast Coneys. We'll talk to him a little bit later on about the place and about some of the things that they offer, but we're big fans of it. And but we have yet to try the Death Sauce. But we're going to do it on the air because, darn it, we are committed. And if you notice,
oh, half a gallon of milk.
I got whole milk, so it'll be especially cool. All right, still cold.
Amateurs.
Up in the break room.
On the peanut gallery.
And we'll have to send somebody out for some white bread. Maybe. Just start flicking the white bread. All right, so we'll do that a little bit later on. Before that, we're going to talk with Ryleigh and Stephen Black of Cross Paranormal.
Hey.
We've had the chance to hang out with them on a couple of occasions. Last time we saw you, it was on Spirit Connections.
Yeah.
That was a great time.
Yeah, that was a fun time hanging out with Tiffany Rice and you guys.
And we tend to when we're there, kind of take over the show for it.
Oh yeah. I like the new background she has. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually got lost.
You did. I seen you turn around and you were like, "Which way is the door?"
Well, it's an awkward segment. It's an awkward transition from one segment to another. They, now at least they bring down the screen. They put up a black screen with some words on it, and so you can change positions, with somewhat degree of ease. But that was the first night they ever did that, and they didn't have that plan in place. So it was kind of like, okay, well, when you're done, just get up and walk away.
And where am I going?
And how am I going to walk away? I'm wearing this microphone, so they're going to hear everything I'm doing. So
it's like respect.
Throwing a little comment. So let's talk with you guys a little bit about how you got started as a paranormal group, because you guys come from a pretty varied background.
Oh yeah. We started Cross Paranormal back in 2008. We really didn't come into light until actually last year when we just started catching all this amazing evidence, and we met so many interesting people at the conventions and whatnot that we just hit this full force, and now we are here doing this radio show.
We didn't have a website.
No, we didn't. Everything that we
like, okay, let's go and public this stuff.
Everything we
kind of just did it for fun.
Well, that's the important thing too. I mean, so many groups that are out there today, they've got their website and they've got their, demo reel, their sizzle reel, and they've got their, they're already in concert pilot before they've even gone out for their first investigation. So the fact that you guys were out there in the field doing the work before you even brought it to people is good. And it's a good chance to make sure that, you've gotten your feet wet enough. Did you feel like by the time that you did bring this stuff public that not only did you have this great evidence, but that you were kind of ready as investigators to step forward?
Well, when you have experiences growing up as a child, you kind of get used to hearing things that go up in the night and seeing things that you really can't explain. And in my mother's household, it was all Russian Orthodox, so it's black and white, heaven, hell, no gray in between. So you really couldn't talk to them about that stuff because they tell you to pray, it's the devil, it's demon, whatever, say your prayers. I really didn't start checking out books from the library until the late 80s and the 90s, and I started to read. And I did my homework, and I read, and I just got so much book experience that when I finally got out there in the field to do my first investigation, my first EVP that I caught, I swear to God, I just almost fell to my knees because I never thought I would hear anything like that. You read about it constantly, you see it on TV, but until you actually experience it and catch one for yourself, it blows the door off of everything.
And when you realize it's making that connection with you.
Yeah.
It's one thing to hear somebody else's EVPs, but when you hear it and it was meant for your ears, it kind of changes everything.
Even hearing some of the stuff we catch today, it's still, your jaw just drops. It's like, oh my God, listen to this, you know what I mean? And you pass the headset. It's just unbelievable, some of the stuff that comes across.
Is it frustrating, though, when you hear it and other people can't? Because maybe sometimes the message is just for you?
Oh, he laughs now. But see, the reason why he's laughing is because every time I do EVPs, and I do them from the time I get up to the time I go to bed, it's nonstop work. And I keep passing the headset to hear this, listen to this, and he's like, I can't hear this anymore. I can't hear it. So I send it to our friend Michael Markowitz, who's back behind me here, and he's the EVP specialist. So if he can't understand it, then I just toss it because hey, can't go against God over here.
You have to send him the raw file.
And sometimes that can be the case though. When you do a lot of this work, as I'm sure Mike can attest, you can become fine-tuned to it, as with his case. And sometimes you can go the other way, where after a while you've heard so much of it, it just all becomes garbled noise.
Yeah, it is. It does do that a lot. You know, sometimes.
You know what
like
I mean? There's too much noise, and
the
pass
aliens
it back.
Well, it's like any kind of musician. When you play music, you know, you hear it for the first time, and then you give it up and walk away for 20 minutes, and you come back and you play it again, and then you hear something totally different. You know, that's what you got to do when you do your EVPs. You go over them, and you make sure that they're what you think they are, and you walk away for a while, and come back and listen to them again. And if you hear the same thing that you did the first time around, then you know you caught something. If it's like making you second guess, then it's not worth playing, because if they can't, the people, the public can't understand what you're playing, then no sense of putting it out there. It's wasted time.
And speaking of musicians, that you come from a musical background, and so maybe that's played a part. You're a drummer, so maybe all that banging array for all those years.
Yeah, I'm probably partially deaf.
No, he is deaf.
Only when your wife talks. That's what's amazing about it.
It's selective here.
You know, if we're watching a game or if we're watching a movie, we can hear everything fine. But when our wives start talking, it's like, oh, I'm sorry.
I think it has something to do with the pitch of the voice.
Yeah, because a lot of EVPs that come over recordings, for me, I find out they're more like a whisper, type. And you try to amplify it, and sometimes you over-amplify it, and then it just sounds like...
Yeah, it's distorted.
Yeah. And then, then ones that have a really deep bass tones to them, you try to equalize them and make them a little bit higher to make it more understandable, and, you just mess it all up. That's when you send it to my mic.
And for those who are listening who might not be familiar with what we're talking about with electronic voice phenomena, it is what we believe to be the recorded voice of spirits. It's an anomaly in a recording that was not heard aloud when the recording happened. That shows up later on playback, and it's a science to some degree, and it's intuition to some degree. I mean, no matter how much you study it, no matter how much you break it all down, no matter how much you study the acoustics like Mike does, and he knows more about sound than people are putting the greatest. But then a lot of it too is also the feel. It's also that you were there, you were experiencing it, and you know what it was that they were trying to convey. Not what we love talking about things outside of your room. So now, Ryleigh, you were saying that you had experiences when you were younger?
Yeah, I did. My grandmother's house, excuse me, I'm losing my voice, it's been a long day. My grandmother's house in northeastern Pennsylvania was an old farmhouse built in the late 1800s, and they didn't have money to bury the family members or close family members that had passed away, so what they would do is have the viewings inside the house up against the wall, like a lot of families did that. And later on, as years passed, the room that had all the viewings in it became a bedroom, which later on in the 70s became my bedroom. So I heard all crazy stuff like you wouldn't believe. People walking back and forth, up and down the stairs, people talking when everybody in the house is asleep. It's, you go chasing through the house trying to find whatever it's making that noise, and you have no idea. And as a child, back in the 70s, you don't think of playing a tape recorder and catching something. It's like, you just, in my mother's family, you pray. That's what they did. So that's what I did. And, like when the EVPs first started coming out and tapes were being made, that's when everybody started getting ideas on how to do this, what to do. So, as the mid-90s started to come around, I really, like I said, did the homework on it. I got book smart when it came to it.
And time, that was really the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Now, Steve, what about yourself? Did you have experiences when you were growing up?
I didn't have any paranormal experiences when I was a kid. It wasn't until I was well into my adult years my first experience. My first experience was very dramatic. It was a full-body hallucination. It happened. I was in my aunt's basement. The house is well over 100 years old, built by shipbuilders. I was running on a treadmill. I just finished a 3-mile run, and shut the treadmill off and turned around, and there was this full apparition right behind the treadmill. I almost fell down. I was like just totally in shock. And I'm looking at it. It was kind of reddish in color, but I could see through it. And it darted into the wall and just disappeared. And the wall was all like stone. It was all stone, because that's how they built the houses back then. And I stayed down there for a minute or two, just questioning myself, questioning what I saw. I was like, did this just happen? I felt nervous. I'm like looking around, and I went upstairs. I went up to the second floor and talked to my aunt. And I'm like, I just saw something downstairs, and I described everything I saw, and I said, I'm not going crazy, am I going crazy? And she starts laughing at me. And I'm like, what? What's so funny? She goes, oh, you met the captain. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she goes, yeah, we didn't tell any of the kids because we didn't want to make them nervous or, scared or anything like that. So, it was just a validation of what I did see. And come to find out, it was the captain.
It's not Captain Morgan.
No, it's not Captain Morgan.
I know, I see Pete over there.
I guess he kind of tormented one of my uncles. He'd scare the crap out of him all the time. My uncle had a bedroom that was right above that area of the basement. He grew up there, and he used to just scare him all the time. And, they never told us kids. So.
Stuff that would have been nice to know before you went down to the basement by yourself.
Exactly.
Same thing happened with me and my aunt lived in a haunted house where I had my first experiences. Nobody bothered to tell us. So we're going through this and we're wondering, hey, are we going crazy? What's going on? And then years later, we all start talking about it. It's like, oh, hey, thanks.
Yeah.
It's
not just me.
So now, before we run out of time here in the first hour, we were mentioning how you investigated Slater Mill a number of times.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Over at least 20 times.
Place is fantastic.
Yeah, well, when you live 3 miles away from the place, it's like your playground.
And it's a chance to keep going back, like we do with Lizzie Boyd, keep going back, keep documenting the activity to follow patterns over time.
Right. You know what the amazing thing about that is that you never catch the same piece of evidence twice. And it's different every time. Every time you go there, on a different day, different month. It's like you get different voices. You either can catch the spirits of the children, or you can catch what we call the wise guys, and these guys are not so nice. They're actually pretty ornery and nasty, and they like to swear a lot. They like to make
So it depends on the
crafts.
dynamics.
Yeah, we do tests. We do like certain things to see what would happen if we put this into the equation, and see if it would change the dynamics of the spirits that actually still are there. And we were catching the wise guys for a long time. The foul language, the cursing, all that. And then we, believe it or not, bring our 13-year-old son Ryan, who is he's a junior investigator, who's been ready and doing this for the last 4 years. So this is not anything new to him. He comes into the picture, and now we have nothing but children following us around, saying our names. Yeah, just wanting to be around us. We even went down a flight of stairs, and the EVPs had stopped, and we come back up the stairs and we catch one of the child saying, "Oh, there you are." So it's like
now they're expecting you, they're waiting for you to come back.
It's a new dynamic. Just bringing him into the equation, it changed the whole dynamics of the EVPs that we're catching. So.
That's right, and some of them that hopefully we get to play tonight for everyone that's listening out there are for when. One of them is when Brian was with us at 13-year-old son. And the rest, all these are from Slater Mill, mind you, that we're going to play tonight. But there are different parts of Slater that you can actually capture these on. So we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're going to play them probably in the bottom half hour of the next hour. So a little bit later on in the program, we'll play those for you to hear. So be ready if you're listening at home and you're listening on the radio, or if you're listening on Spooky TV, SpookySouthcoast.com, plug in some headphones, and you'll be able to hear them even better. We'll play those coming up later on in the program. But you mentioned these wise guys that you encountered there, and that they are a little foul-mouthed and they do seem a little bit more aggressive. But do you feel like they're anything negative, or are they just kind of maybe, the guys who were working there and who are now there in the afterlife?
Well, a lot of people say that they've been slapped or scratched or pinched or whatever, and I've actually had everything happen to me there except for getting the scratches. I've been slapped across the face, but that's
Did you apologize after? Oh, you mean by the
by spirit, and it wasn't one of those and your head goes flapping back.
Yeah, it's nothing like that. She just feels like almost like a heat signature on her
like
cheek,
the side
like
of your face is
all of a
burning,
sudden.
But no scratch marks or nothing.
But it felt like it was like it was
like
a
a
slap or more
handprint.
like kind of like a caress.
No, like something slapped you. Like when somebody slaps you in the face, does it feel like a caress?
Well, no, because I have heard stories from
Depends
people
when it
that
happens.
there are some male entities in the place that do tend to get a little grabby and a little feely with the females.
I've been grabbed, I've been slapped, I've been pinched, I've been everything but scratched. So that I'm waiting for, which last night actually we did 6 hours of Slater and celebrity guest tour there, and we did 2 tours, one at 7 and one at 10. And at the end of the 7 o'clock one, I literally got sick and had to leave the Sylvanus Brown house because I was physically ill. And I was doing some provocation with Carl and the wheel well at the Wilkinson Mill.
Carl asked you to do some provocation.
Yeah, because I do real good.
She can open her mouth when she wants to.
So I think it kind of, showed me who's boss.
Well, that's kind of my style a little bit too. I take some criticism sometimes at these Legend Trips events that we do, but I do tend to get a reaction out of it. So it'll be fun to explore that. Now, for those who are going to be investigating Slater Mill for the first time, and some people who are going to be attending this event will be investigating for the first time ever, what are some of the hot spots of the mill complex?
Believe it or not, it's not actually in any of the buildings. It's between all three. And if you walk around outside at all three along the sidewalk, you will catch your EVPs. Now people say, oh, well, maybe it's for the people on the street that are talking. Nobody is out there in Pawtucket after dark talking.
Yeah, you've been to Pawtucket?
Yeah.
You don't go outside.
You don't go outside at night. I'm sorry, but you don't. And I've learned this over the last year, that you just don't do it. Also, let's see, in the Sylvanus Brown house, as soon as you walk through the front door and you turn to the right into the little kitchen dining area, we had our millimeter spike up to 28.7 and stay there for like 5 seconds. Wow. Yeah, Joe Chin from GHI was standing right next to Ryan when it happened. And I was mouthing off and using some provocation, nothing too dramatic or anything. I just was using what the spirit box was saying. It was saying it was hungry, it wanted to eat, it was tired. It said, I'm not cooking for you, I'm not feeding you, and I don't care if you're tired, cook your own damn self, just do it yourself. And it came across and it goes, we will whip you, or I'll whip you, girl, you ain't the devil. And then everybody's K2 meter lit up like a Roman candle, and I'm like, okay.
Well, they don't have to worry when we go there next week for Legend Trips. We're gonna have pizza and salad.
There's nothing to worry
so the spirits
about.
can just eat some of the pizza and salad.
There's nothing, it's just nothing to worry about.
No, I mean, it's scary when you first experience it that you've never been on a ghost tour or a haunted vacation before.
We had some people last night that were really scared. They were like, oh my God, shut that box off. We were using the spirit box, PX twice. And they're like, shut that off, that scared me.
Demonologist in training, James somebody, I can't remember his name, and he was there, and they were like, are you going to kill the spirits? Are you here to, kill them?
They thought we were going to capture them in a box.
Let me grab my proton pack, throw it in the trap.
Yeah, right. They were asking if we had little guns, we could shoot them. And I'm like, no.
And Carl Johnson looks around, shut these off.
Yeah, and then we pull out the spirit box, and you're like, you have a spirit in a box?
Yes, and I'm going to put it on eBay and sell it. All right, we're coming up on the end of this first hour of the program, but when we come back in hour number 2, we'll talk more with the Blacks later on. We'll play some of the EVPs that were captured at Slater Mill by Black Cross Paranormal. You can check out their website, blackcrossparanormal.com. During the break, and coming up in the beginning of the second hour of the show, we're going to talk with Mark Phillips. He's the executive producer of My Ghost Story, which airs on the Bio channel on Saturday nights right up against this show. And I'll be on an upcoming episode. Our friends from Dark will be on an upcoming episode. We probably shouldn't reveal that stuff, but we'll talk about it with Mark Phillips coming up in just a few minutes. And then again, if you haven't already gotten in your car and driven down here, start heading down here now, because the Death Sauce Challenge is on all night. Plenty of people here in the studio that are going to take part, right? Everybody? Yeah.
All you guys are crazy. I've heard what's in this stuff, and there's no way.
And we've got plenty. We've got plenty to go around, so come on down.
I'm not going to the yard.
22 Sconticut Neck Road, right in the plaza with the 99 and Fun 107. Knock on the window, you'll see us all, and we'll send some death sauce. So we'll be right back with more here on Spooky Southcoast.
First, with local news, talk, and sports. This is WBSM New Bedford, AM 1420. WBSM, a Cumulus station.
We're right, those forecasters. Tornadoes rip through the plains.
There's a lot of trees and power lines down, and then half the town's out.
A hotel worker in Creston, Iowa. Hospital's been evacuated to a local school for shelter. And this scary wail of a tornado siren sounded as a twister was spotted and people took cover in Salina, Kansas. ABC meteorologist Ginger Z in Cherokee, Oklahoma's been chasing tornadoes.
As a storm chaser, what you can do out here as an experienced and educated storm chaser, you can call 911 when you see the tornado. And therefore, people who are back in studios, people who are trying to warn and are in offices, they have confirmation that the rotation they see on radar is actually on the ground.
More than a dozen possible tornadoes have been reported in Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma. Plus hail the size of baseballs, hail breaking windows and bashing cars and homes. As forecasters warn people across the midsection to brace for life-threatening weather through tomorrow. More Americans are now embroiled in the Secret Service scandal of alleged prostitutes and drinking at their hotel rooms in Colombia. Hotel staff allege 22 people, including more than a dozen Secret Service agents and 5 U.S. military special operations personnel. Ordering the staff to start a preliminary investigation into the scandal. Congressman Peter King, New York Republican.
A Secret Service agent cannot put himself in a position where he can be compromised, he can be threatened.
Gasoline prices have ticked down, and at least one analyst says that trend could continue after initial comments were positive from diplomats at today's talks with Iran about its nuclear program. ABC's TJ Winner.
If the price to fill up your car continues to drop, that's also good news for frequent flyers. Lower prices will calm the fears of major airlines now aren't expected to raise their fares. Not everyone is predicting that gas prices won't go up again soon, but even some of the worst case scenarios now have prices peaking at just over $4 a gallon, a far cry from earlier predictions of $5 gasoline.
You're listening to ABC News.
Today we're asking people to name their one favorite meal for one from Stouffer's.
One favorite? Stouffer's lasagna. But how about the barbecue chicken?
Grilled white meat chicken coated with a sweet and tangy sauce with a side of cheesy potatoes topped with crisp bacon.
Yes.
So that's your one Stouffer's favorite.
Oh, but I also like Stouffer's meatloaf.
Classic meatloaf with a rich tomato glaze, smothered in a savory gravy with a tasty side of... Hey, where are you going?
You kidding? The store.
Stock up on all your favorite Stouffer's meals for one. Today.
Mike Rowe here at a Ford dealer with Fiona. Fiona here was just telling me the Ford dealer sells something like a new tire every 5 seconds. How's that possible?
Well, Ford purchases about 3 million tires a year.
Seems like a lot of tires.
11 major brands.
And you just sold one right now.
We also have what's called the low price tire guarantee.
How's that work?
We'll beat anybody's advertised price, guaranteed.
And get a $100 rebate when you buy 4 select tires.
You're not going to run out, are you?
Absolutely not.
Promise?
I promise.
Competitors ad required for tire guarantee. Offer cannot be combined. See participating Ford dealer for rebate details through 5/31/12.
A warning from President Obama about illegal drugs to Latin American leaders. The regional summit going on in Colombia. ABC News White House correspondent Ann Compton's there.
Here in Colombia, pressure is growing to legalize the narcotics trade as a last resort. But President Obama isn't buying it.
Legalization is not the answer.
He warned the president of Colombia whole countries could become drug economies.
If they were allowed to operate legally without any constraint, could be just as corrupting, if not more corrupting, than the status quo.
But he did say he would listen to Latin America's debate about drugs. Ann Compton, ABC News, Cartagena.
On Monday, a park opens in St. Albans, West Virginia, honoring the millions of women who not only helped win World War II, but also established a beachhead as future equal employees in America's workplaces.
She's making history, working for victory. The number of married women in the workforce doubled by the end of World War II. They worked in shipyards and aircraft factories and as secretaries. A West Virginia community will break ground Monday on the Rosie the Riveter Park, said to be the first of its kind in the nation to honor women who served on the home front during the war. The role of Rosies in the war effort transformed the nation as well as their own lives. The factory jobs paid well, though immediately after the war ended, most of the women were fired. Joan Bennett, ABC News.
This is ABC News.
Is it time for a new roof? Get your roofing job done right. Call Sears Roofing right now for a free in-home estimate. That's Sears Roofing. Not available in all areas. Installation provided by Sears authorized licensed contractors. License information available upon request. Call Sears Roofing right now. 1-888-990-2233. That's 1-888-990-2233. 1-888-990-2233. Sears.
Chuck Severson, ABC News.
Travel advisories. Our new mobile apps will even update you on the go. So whether you have information to get or ideas to give your government, check out USA.gov. Who knows? Lottery results today could lead to retirement planning tomorrow. USA.gov. With the right connections, there's no telling where you can go.
Hi, I'm Natalie Cole. I was given the gift of a strong voice, and I enjoy using it. That's why I find it pretty ironic that a potentially dangerous virus, hepatitis C, was able to live inside my body for almost 25 years in silence. You see, in 2008, I went in for what I thought would be a routine blood test. Instead, I was diagnosed with chronic hepatitis C. It was a shock, to say the least. But I decided to take action, and so I met with my doctors. We talked about my options. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but I kept on singing, even though I had to cancel some shows along the way. Now I'm using my gift, my strong voice, to encourage others to take action. If you have chronic hepatitis C, doing nothing is not an option. Talk to your doctor, and please log on to tuneintohepc.com for more information. Thank you.
My husband says social drinking relaxes him, but he's not very relaxed when he comes home at night. He's always ready to pick a fight. I don't think he's an alcoholic, even though I think he drinks too much. My psychiatrist suggested I try Al-Anon family groups. I was surprised at how quickly I found help at Al-Anon. Are you troubled by someone's drinking? You might be surprised at what you could learn in an Al-Anon family group meeting from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or visit AlanonFamilyGroups.org.
Scam artists are trying to trick seniors into giving them their Medicare number.
I heard that. This happened to my friend. A man came to her door wanting to sign her up for the new Medicare program. Well, when she got her Medicare summary notice, it was full of charges for services she hadn't received. So I did something about it. I joined a senior Medicare patrol where I teach others to protect their Medicare numbers, review statements to spot false charges, and report fraud. Call 800-892-0890 or visit stopmedicarefraud.gov.
Captain Eric Lawrence was training Afghan soldiers when his truck was hit by an IED.
I sat home alone for months. I didn't want that anymore. I wanted to go back to work. Alleviating, helping me write my resume, got me a job interview. I got the job.
Paralyzed Veterans of America. Changing lives, building futures. To learn more, visit pva.org. A public service message from Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Here's more of Spooky Southcoast.
Welcome back to Spooky Southcoast. Tim Weisberg here, along with the silent assassin, Matt Costa, science advisor, Matt Moniz. We are here to talk about the paranormal, as we are each and every Saturday night. Also broadcasting on Spooky TV at SpookySouthcoast.com. And joining us on the line right now, we have our guest, Mark Phillips. He is the executive producer of My Ghost Story, which airs on the Bio channel. The new season starts next Saturday, April 21st. Mark, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, we're glad to have you, and thank you for putting on a show that gives a very honest and open portrayal of people and their paranormal experiences.
Thank you. You know, I have a great suggestion for your audience every Saturday night. Watch my ghost story at 10, and then listen to your show at 11.
That works out great.
We'll just warm them up for you.
And you know, we actually had a lot of people who have been in contact with us over the years that I think would make great guests for your show, so I'll be sure to pass them on to the producers.
Yeah, please do that. Please do that.
Now, how did the idea of putting this show together? This is what, the third or fourth season now?
We just started shooting season 3, but season 2 was extended, so we've churned out quite a lot of episodes.
And how did the idea come about originally to put on this program and in this manner?
Well, A&E had contacted me because they'd seen a cop show that I did, and they wanted to know if it was something that I was interested in doing. And I said, well, I really want to do a reality paranormal show that had real evidence in it. And they said, well, let's take a look at some of the evidence. So I gathered a bunch together and I sent it off to them. And I originally had called it Hauntings Revealed. And they looked at it, and they initially passed, and then called me a few months later and said, hey, you know what? We're going to change our mind. This is really cool. We want to call it My Ghost Story. And as soon as they said that, I thought, these guys are really savvy. Because they really know how to brand their channel. Because it's just, that's so bio, My Ghost Story. So I put together a special, and it did very well. They gave me a second special that did even better, and then they ordered a series. They just keep on ordering. And as of next Saturday, it's going to be running every Saturday night through to the end of the year. In fact, it's on right now.
I was going to say, I noticed and there's a marathon happening next Saturday night in advance of the season premiere, right?
That's correct, yeah.
So for anybody who's missed some episodes, it's a great chance to catch up. And I know I get to see it on demand because I'm here in the studio when it's on, so I either DVR it or I watch it on demand.
Right.
Now, you said that you wanted to put something together with the paranormal. Was there a reason why you wanted to get into paranormal aspect of reality television? Is it because...
Well, I'll share something with you. I haven't shared this publicly, but I was the co-executive producer of the Ghost Hunters for the first 2 episodes, and I was fired.
Sorry to hear that. Although things seem to have worked out, but...
it was the last, what we call work-for-hire show that I ever had to do. I now only produce programming that my company produces. And I found it a fascinating arena. I was somewhat responsible for inventing how that show worked. And I, kind of put it aside for a while, did a whole bunch of other shows, and then came back to it. I've always been interested in the arena. There was a guy by the name of Peter James. You know Peter James?
Oh, yes.
Peter James approached me a number of years ago. He's passed away. And he took me on a tour, a private tour into the bowels of the Queen Mary, parked out here in Long Beach. And it was absolutely fascinating. It was just fascinating. I've been kind of hooked on the material ever since then. I can't say that I'm a huge believer. I can't say that I'm I'm not saying that I'm a skeptic. What we do is we put people's stories on, and we take them. We vet the evidence quite closely, and we let people tell their stories. So many people have had these experiences. It's kind of hard to sweep it under the rug.
Absolutely. And being a television producer, you can tell that with the paranormal arena, there is that natural sense of drama because it is so unknown to people. They're already apprehensive about it. They're already having these feelings about it.
Yeah, except that 70% of Americans believe that there is something else going on out there. 70% of the population believe in the paranormal. So that's why these shows are so popular. I was just approached by Discovery to try to do one for them. See what happens.
Sure. Now, you mentioned vetting the evidence, and I have to say I've dealt with a couple of these different paranormal programming. I was telling everybody here in the studio, because we have a whole studio full of paranormal investigators tonight, and I was telling them how My Ghost Story is above and beyond what any of these other shows are doing in terms of how accurate you want to be in the portrayal of the experience, of the evidence, and right down to making sure that you get the name of every person that was involved with the capturing of that evidence, and everybody signs release. Everybody is fully on board for what happened, and that's something that I think a lot of these shows, they're just like, yeah, give me that really cool clip, and it doesn't matter.
Right. No, that's what our show is about. I mean, it's we have a very good reputation in the paranormal community because we stay true to our cause.
And I also think that serves you well in terms of just getting people to be willing to open up and sharing their experiences. Whereas, some of these other shows, the way that they come across and dealing with people, they're like, yeah, I don't really know if I feel comfortable. If this is the way that I want to go public with what happened to me.
Correct. And there are a lot of people who don't want to go public.
Do you ever bring people in to share a story and, when the cameras are on them, when they're talking with the producers, do you ever find that, it just gets too much for them? It's too overwhelming and too emotional?
Well, we've had that a few times. Well, I would say dozens of times. People have become overwhelmed and started to really crack emotionally and cry. This program gets very, very emotional. I remember one story, we did this story about these two soldiers, a woman soldier and a man soldier who were in Iraq, captured amazing evidence, and they both broke down on set and cried. And they were in uniform. Amazing. This stuff can get very emotional, especially when there's a real personal connection to it. When somebody has seen some kind of evidence of their son, daughter, father, or grandfather, when they're really connected to a story, they get quite emotional.
Sure, it's easy for paranormal investigators to go in and say, well, I was investigating this 150-year-old case, and I think that I met the spirit of, Abraham Lincoln, when other people are talking about loved ones who their deaths were traumatic, and the paranormal was kind of how they helped overcome their own grief.
Correct. And perhaps not.
But what are some of the more memorable cases over the past few seasons that stand out in your mind?
Oh, the story of a policeman in New York City who was charged with finding the body part from the wreckage of 9/11. It was all taken to Staten Island, and that was part of the job. Then all of a sudden, all kinds of strange things started occurring in his house, including taking pictures of crucifixes with the clock stopping. The clock would stop at, I'm trying to remember what it was now, 8:51, the time when the first jet hit. The clock would always stop at the same spot. Eerie story. Very interesting man wrote a book about it too. It's called Running with the Bulls.
Well,
that's one of the most interesting stories. There are even stories that some of us have become personally connected to. I'll give you a quick story. There was a woman who came on the show, and she was constantly finding money, pennies specifically, with the date 1977. That was the date that her son was born. He died about 5 years ago. And she keeps on finding these iconic moments related to the year of his year that he was born. So I had this strange thing in my life that I'm constantly finding money. And so that day we were taping, and I was listening to the story, and I thought, wow, that's interesting. I walked up to my car get something. You've been to the studio, right? So you know the situation. I walked out to my car to get something from the car, and as I'm coming back, I see a penny. I pick it up, and lo and behold, it's a 1977 penny. So I went on stage, and when she finished taping her story, I gave it to her. She broke up. Yeah.
Now, with sharing these stories, though, there is some degree of responsibility too, as the storyteller's medium. In helping them portray that story. Do you ever have people who come back and criticize you that's saying, you're exploiting these people's experiences? Because to me, it's done very tastefully. But I can see other people maybe saying, this might not be the way to tell these stories.
We've had a couple of instances where somebody has come back and said, I really don't like how you told my story because you left out this. And sometimes we have to do that just because we only have a certain amount of time. We can't tell. Sometimes we leave really good bits and pieces of the story, as we say, on the cutting room floor. It's just the nature of storytelling in television. We only have a certain amount of time. We've also had a few instances where one ghost hunting group has taken us up on the validity of the material, because the material in question was from another ghost hunting group in the same area.
Yeah, they're rivals.
I've found there's a lot of rivalry in the arena.
Welcome to the paranormal community.
Yeah, it's a tad comical because we really try to rise above all of that. I think that our best stories are stories that are told by real people who are not necessarily connected to a ghost hunting group. That was always where I wanted this to go. But there's good storytellers out there who belong to these groups and have had some kind of experience, and the experience so affected them that now they're looking to find another experience. That's kind of interesting, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That was the one criticism that I heard from people who watch My Ghost Story, is they would say, it's a great show, it's a compelling show, but those stories are just too good to believe. They have to be fictionalized in some degree, but I can tell you firsthand, from going through the process, there's no way. I mean, these people are telling the true, honest-to-God stories of what happened to them the way that it happened.
Exactly. Well, we also vet quite thoroughly in the casting. You've been through it, so you know. We have people either use Skype or their own flip cams and send us their story. We're looking for the people who have a good story, who have good evidence, and are good at telling the story. And that's why it's the #1 rated show on the network.
Is there a way that people can get in touch with you if they want to share their own stories?
What they should do, and they should email Courtney, and I'll give you the email address. It's Courtney at mtpt.tv. So it's COURTNEY at mtpt.tv. You of course know Courtney. She's one of the brain trusts at my company.
And everybody there.
And your audience might want to know that the program is seen all over the world. There's also a Spanish version of it, which is being produced out of Buenos Aires. There is a Southeast Asian version of it, which is being produced out of Singapore. Plus, the episodes that we produce here are seen literally all over the world on all the A&E outlets, plus other outlets. And in the next group of shows that we're doing, we're actually doing, I think, 15 international stories, which we're going to program into the show. We already have a couple out of Australia, England, Canada. So we're trying to devise an international version of the program as well.
Well, the season premiere is next Saturday night at 10 p.m. on the Bio channel, and I know that we really can't say too much about what I filmed with who I went out there with, but it will be coming up in these next block of shows.
When it gets programmed, we'll let you know, so you can talk about it. And if you need somebody from the show to help you talk about it, we'll arrange for somebody. And once more, I want to advise your audience to watch My Ghost Story at 10, and then flip to your show at 11.
Thank you so much for joining us. Mark Phillips, the executive producer of My Ghost Story, and I look forward to sharing more stories with you and helping bring people to you to help tell those stories.
I appreciate it, Ted. Thanks a lot.
Have a great night.
You too.
That is, again, Mark Phillips, the executive producer of My Ghost Story. It airs on the Bio channel Saturday nights at 10 p.m. The season premiere is next Saturday night, April 21st. And I got to tell you, it really is the best paranormal show on TV because they do, I don't want to say they put you through the ringer because everybody's so great about the process and everybody's so helpful, but the questions that they ask, I think I was maybe 3 minutes into my first discussion with them on the phone, and I realized, okay, I feel really comfortable doing this show because we've been burned in the past with some of these shows. We've shown up and done things and kind of seen the way things go down and said, yeah, I wish I kind of hadn't answered that email. But this show gets it right. My Ghost Story on the Bio channel. So tune in next Saturday night at 10 p.m. for the season premiere. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I guess we're going to do it. We're going to take the Death Sauce Challenge, and you can too. Come on down to the studios, the Spooky Studios, here at the WBSM Studios. Sconnecut Neck Road in Fairhaven, right next to the 99. Come on down, try the Death Sauce. I brought milk, so if it's too much for you, you can have a sip of milk. But we're going to do it right here in the studio coming up in just a few minutes here on Spooky Southcoast.
7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's one every 26 seconds. So here's a 26-second message of encouragement.
Hey, I'm Matt. I know, sometimes you think no one cares if I finish high school, right? Well, I do. Me and thousands of people you've never even met. Okay, here's the thing. When you graduate, you have better opportunities to make more money, have a cool job, you know, just have a better life. So the next time you need a little support, a little motivation, just know there are a whole lot of shoulders for you to lean on. So stay in school and graduate.
Do you have 26 seconds to convince a student to stay at their desk? Now you can share your message of support at boostup.org. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step. Brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
AM 1420, WBSM, thinks our hard-working teachers should get the recognition they deserve. Most go above and beyond to see that area students receive the best possible education. We ask your help in paying tribute to those outstanding area teachers. Log on to WBSM.com and nominate a WBSM Bank 5 Teacher of the Month. Tell us why one teacher deserves this honor. Each month, we visit a classroom and present the award. The class wins a Domino's pizza party and tickets to Ocean's 18 Blacklight Mini Golf. And the teacher gets a special plaque from Dartmouth Gifts and Engraving, flowers from Treeland Nursery, a delicious cake from Cold Stone Creamery in Dartmouth, a gift card to A&E Jewelers, dinner compliments of Advanced Eye Centers, and a gift card to the Ruby Room, the Teacher of the Month, with Bank 5 and AM 1420. WBSM.
This is Jack Peterson with the latest featured animals up for adoption at the Forever Paws Animal Shelter at 300 Linwood Street in Fall River. Herschel is a 4-year-old male cat who's absolutely stunning with his gorgeous blue eyes and long silky white and orange coat. He's extremely lovable, has an easygoing personality, and gets along well with other animals, and recently provided pet therapy to the residents of the local nursing home. Link is an older silver Himalayan with beautiful color eyes. His calmness and easygoing personality makes him quite desirable. He'd be the ideal companion to relax with at the end of the day. And Joshua is a handsome orange tabby with a loving and outgoing personality. He charms everyone he interacts with through the pet therapy program. All three would make a wonderful addition to any family. For more information, call the shelter at 508-677-9154 or visit the website foreverpaws.com.
This is the story of Daniel, who was born 2 months early. His lungs weren't ready. His heart wasn't ready. His parents could only hope that one day he would leave the hospital healthy, and they would all live happily ever after. Daniel's is just one of the more than 500,000 stories of babies born prematurely last year. You can help the March of Dimes stop premature birth and bring more babies home healthy. Learn how at marchofdimes.com. Working together for stronger, healthier babies.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to report a bear sighting.
Location.
In the woods, just outside of town.
Oh, not surprising. You've got your home. Bears have theirs.
Yeah, but see, this wasn't just any bear. This bear was wearing jeans and a hat, as in a Smokey Bear.
Jeans and a hat. That's definitely Smokey. What exactly did he have to say?
Well, we were about to head home, after having a bonfire.
Oh, I can guess where this is going.
Right. See, Smokey told me the fire wasn't actually out. He said if it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave.
That's true. Did you know that 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans? That means 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented.
Wow, no kidding?
I'm a forest ranger. Are you never kid?
Sorry.
That was it. If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference, because 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Major League Baseball getting in on the action.
Hi, I'm Mike Phillips. I'm Carlos Payne, and we're getting in on the action. Thousands of high school students across the country are getting in on the action by volunteering. Action teams of high school students join volunteers from America and Major League Baseball players to train and inspire the next generation of volunteers. It's easy to start action teams with your schools, too, to get in on the action. Are you in?
Bravo's action team got it. You in?
Science advisor Matt Coneys. We have joining us here in the studio Jason Morey of Southcoast Coneys. You've heard us talk about the place on the air for many weeks now. It's a great place. Why don't you tell everybody where you're located?
Hey Tim, thanks for having me.
Oh, glad to have you.
Actually at Middleborough, off from 28, Middleborough Crossing Plaza, it's the same plaza as Hanford's. It's a Coney Island hot dog place. It's off to Italian sausage, meatballs. Well, a lot of crazy hot dogs, BLT dogs, nacho dogs.
Reuben dogs.
Reuben dogs, you name it, we got it. It's more as well. So, just came on today, trying this hot sauce here that I make myself.
So I have to say I've been hearing about this, and I see that it's you have a number of on the menu, but this is beyond anything.
This is just total brutality in a jar. You know what I mean? It's pretty bad.
How'd you come up with the recipe?
I did a little research online, basically. So, the school system and how that's done. Hot peppers and extracts and stuff like that. Basically, this is the third batch of it I made, and every one has gotten a little worse. This one came down.
Worse in terms of the level of.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna have to do this. If anybody else wants to come down and try it, come on down to the studios here. Just knock on the window. It's in a glass jar. I'm assuming that's the only thing that will hold it. Anything else it'll just eat right through. We have our spoons ready. We have our milks ready. And if you're home and you're not driving around, you definitely want to jump on your computer and go to Spooky TV and SpookySouthcoast.com, because we have the camera here in the studio. You can see everybody's reactions as they try it. And maybe we should go one at a time so that we can close up everybody. Yeah, Moniz actually handled it pretty well. I'm surprised. Oh, okay. There's a couple seconds worth of time where you say maybe this wasn't such a good. There we go. So we actually lost that mic, Jason. So It's gone. It's down for the count. I think the mic got too close to the hot sauce. Death to the microphones as well. All right, now Mike Markowitz is going to give it a try here.
Good luck. No money budget, PSAs 0%.
I was going to say, that's a small amount, Mike.
And here's the burn. Oh.
Hit him right away.
Oh, look at him turn red.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. You see the mushroom cloud? Yeah.
Well, there's the mushroom.
Now don't forget, this is the man who once recorded what he believes is the sound of the gates of heaven opening up in an EVP. He's about to see them now after eating that
What'd
sauce.
you say, childbirth in your mouth?
Yeah?
Can you just use the, you know...
Coneys, have you hit the milk yet?
You gotta understand the smell of this thing. I'm sitting next to it like a good 2 feet away.
It's going to clear up whatever sinus issues you're having.
I know that.
Who's up next?
Rachel,
Ladies?
come on. You're a
Charlene, you're not going to do it?
Good. No.
Whoa.
No.
All right. If you can do it, no. She did it. Oh, she did it.
Oh, my God. You got big cojones.
Wow. Keep an eye on her. I want to see how she looks in about 3 minutes.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Who wants to go next? Costa, you next?
You all right?
You and I at the same time? Oh, I was kind of giving a narration play by play. All right, here we go.
Now, Rachel
give me
took
the
a big
recommended
spoon of
dose.
this stuff.
Don't give me the
big
Rachel
spoon.
dose.
And she has no milk. Everybody else is just taking the tip of the spoon.
All right.
There goes Tim.
Costa, go ahead, get yours.
Here goes Tim and Matt Costa.
We're
Dun.
at the same time.
Listen, if you die, can I EVP you?
Yeah, absolutely. I promise you. All right, ready?
Round. Oh. And here comes the burn.
No, it's very good. Wow. Ooh. Let me take off my glasses. You can see how watery my eyes are. Wow, that is delicious. Can you put this on the hot dogs? And ooh. Do you cook it in the hot dogs, or do you kind of just... there we go. You just kind of put it on afterwards. Wow, it gave me the hiccups. I'm going to have to drink something just so I can...
Oh my God. This is nasty. Ooh, okay.
Yes, the worst case
I thought
of
you were
hiccups
going to
ever.
throw up.
Moniz, take over.
Not doing as well as you, but I'll try. Now, do you have an idea what it is on the school field?
Oh my God.
Right. So you're saying, right, up against microphones so the rest of us can hear.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's about a habanero pepper is about 300,000 square foot units. So this stuff right here is 1.5 million. So it's pretty hot. 4 times hot, almost 4 times hot.
It contains a lot of what's called capsaicin acid, yes, and it's quite potent, let me tell you.
Have you ever got mace?
It cost me about $70 to make 2 little jars of it, basically. So it's not cheap to make.
And now, for somebody to come and try it on a hot dog at Southcoast Coneys, how much is the dog?
Well, I have it as a triple pack called Triple Dog Day. Eat 3 of them, or you can buy it as one. We call them out the death of kind. So yeah, get that just as one.
Yeah, you're going to have to get that guy. Adam Richmond.
Adam Richmond, yeah.
Calling you out, Adam Richmond.
Wow, like I haven't cried like this since I watched Don't Yell At Me.
See a whole
Well, it's a dream come true for most women. They're like, oh, you finally watched The Notebook. No, I just had the death sauce.
Anybody want seconds?
I think I'm good. Ross, you got the commercials ready? Let's take another break. All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll play the EVPs from Ryleigh and Stephen Black of Black Cross Paranormal if they captured at Slater Mill. And if you want to purchase tickets to next week's Legend Trip, I can't even do the commercials. Just go to
AM 1420, WBSM, and the Seaport Inn and Marina invite you to an incredible evening of psychic fun. On Friday the 13th, it's the ladies-only psychic party, hosted by John Stetson. Experience this lively and fascinating show, delivered by John Stetson, with his distinctive style of humor, intensity, and compassion. John Stetson is known worldwide and has performed for presidents, celebrities, and has appeared on CNN, CBS, NBC, and on the A&E network. Tickets for the ladies-only psychic party, hosted by John Stetson, are limited and available now at the Seaport Inn and Marina in Fairhaven.
Move through the beats. Do your thing.
All right, everyone, let's hear it for West High's own Brooke Turner, a.k.a. DJ Hook.
Scratching at my first school dance takes confidence. So getting into college, I've got what it takes. Okay, I went through the practice sessions, I slept good, I feel good.
We will now begin the test. Please take out your pencils.
I've got this.
We're all good at something. Maybe it's breakdancing, or skateboarding, or video games. Whatever you're good at, you had the skills to make it happen. And those same skills will help us get to college. Visit knowhowtogo.org to learn what you should be doing right now to prepare for college. Start taking the steps at knowhowtogo.org.
I've got what it takes. So do you.
Brought to you by the American Council on Education, the Foundation, and the Ad Council.
My husband says social drinking relaxes him, but he's not very relaxed when he comes home at night. He's always ready to pick a fight. I don't think he's an alcoholic, even though I think he drinks too much. My psychiatrist suggested I try Al-Anon family groups. I was surprised at how quickly I found help at Al-Anon. Are you troubled by someone's drinking? You might be surprised at what you could learn in an Al-Anon family group meeting from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or visit AlanonFamilyGroups.org.
Scam articles are trying to trick seniors into giving them their Medicare numbers.
I heard that. This happened to my friend. A man came to her door wanting to sign her up for the new Medicare program. Well, when she got her Medicare summary notice, it was full of charges for services she hadn't received. So I did something about it. I joined the Senior Medicare Patrol, where I teach others to protect their Medicare numbers, review statements to spot false charges, and report fraud.
Call 800-892-0890 or visit stopmedicarefraud.gov.
Captain Eric Lawrence was training Afghan soldiers when his truck was hit by an IED.
I sat home alone for months. I didn't want that anymore. I wanted to go back to work. PBA helped me write my resume, got me a job interview, and got the job.
Paralyzed Veterans of America. Changing lives, building futures. To learn more, visit PBA.org. A public service message from Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Can you tell if this burger contains bacteria that could cause kidney failure? Listen. Can't. You can't see it either. There's only one way to tell if you've cooked meat and poultry to a bacteria-killing temperature. Use a food thermometer. It's not an extra step or a nice to have. Raw or undercooked meat may contain bacteria that can make you very sick, or worse. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year, and roughly 3,000 will die. But you can keep your family safer by using a food thermometer every time. Learn more about this and other important information. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov. That's foodsafety.gov. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Spooky Southcoast. Tim Weisberg. A little bit more able to talk. I'm still feeling the tingles, still feeling the burn. But we just tried the Death Sauce Challenge from Southcoast Coneys in Middleborough, and if you didn't get the chance to come down and check it out, if you're listening to this on podcast, or if you're watching it on YouTube later on, check the place out. It's in the Hannaford's Plaza there. Grab a gallon of milk. You can grab, you probably get some extra hot dog buns people can use to soak up the spice afterwards. Go see Jay at Southcoast Coneys, highly recommended. And I guess some of our listeners, our loyal listeners, have been coming by. I heard Chris was there yesterday, and I don't think she's going to try the death sauce, but maybe you can talk her into it. And we'll see where we can do there, but definitely go check it out and try some of the stuff down there. And the new thing is the nacho potato wedges. That's a new menu item. So I'm looking forward to coming by someday and trying some of those. And the ones with the chorizo are just phenomenal. The chorizo and cheesy tots, is that it? Yeah, you gotta go and try those. Those are a must-have. Did you try those when you went to us? Yeah, those are a must-have. And Moniz, have you been there yet? No, you and I will have to go for some lunch one day. Just, we won't have to do this. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we legitimately melted that microphone. We had it too close to the sauce and it melted. Sorry about that, Frank. All right. Well, we are still here with Ryleigh and Stephen Black at Black Cross Paranormal. Luckily, they didn't try the death sauce.
They're
so
smart.
They're still able to speak. And so they can share with us some more of their experiences investigating not only Slater Mill, but some other cases as well. We actually have some EVPs to play from your investigations into Slater Mill. So let's do that, because that'll give us a chance to play some audio and have Ryleigh and Stephen talk about it a whole bunch of times while I continue to slurp copious amounts of milk. All right, so why don't we play the first one here? And now, let me just ask you, how many times have you been there? And
we've been there about 20 times. Wow. Yeah, we actually love that place. We're 3 miles away, so we frequent there a lot. Carl and Keith Johnson are the best. They really, truly are. And they love to take the time out and talk about the history of the place, set aside from all the experiences that everybody's having, at Slater Mill. So, you have to learn the history of the place before you can do an investigation there. And if you do your background checks and your homework on it, and you go there for, the graveyard shift, you're going to actually be able to interact kind of in a way and see if you can get a response. Now, there are a lot of residual hauntings there. There's a lot of intelligent spirits that will answer you back. So if you know the history, use it definitely as trigger object. You will get a response, I promise.
now, so these EVPs, have they been collected over the course of numerous investigations, or are they all from one particular night?
Some of them.
That's also something else, huh? Yeah, there's a couple from a single investigation, but I think we gave you 5 or 6 of them, and they're from numerous investigations.
All right, so why don't we roll the first one, and then they can tell us what this is. Did you hear that? Were you able to catch that?
Oh, is that the swearing one?
Yeah.
Okay, if you could hear it in the background, and Matt wants to play it again real quick, you could hear Carl Johnson giving us a lecture inside the Slater Mill. When you go into the place, its part is a museum, then you have the upstairs banquet area and the conference rooms, and then you have downstairs is the actual working cotton mill that still works to this day. And he's with his group giving a lecture way on the other side, and that's about almost 200 feet away from where we were at. And you could hear it in the background, and then you got one of the wise guys dropping the F-bomb to Carl.
Maybe he tried some of that death sauce.
Yeah.
All right, why don't we play that one more time? People can go.
I'm sure you heard it now, huh? Now that we can tell you what it is. Yeah.
And that is the dangerous thing about EVPs, though, is, that's why we're going to let you listen to it first, see what you can hear, and then we'll tell you what Ryleigh and Stephen heard, and then you can hear it again. That way you don't go into it with a preconceived notion. You know what I mean? It's more organic that way for the listener. All right, so why don't we play the next one?
I know you're here.
Now, if you don't know what that is...
I need you to kind of break that one down for me.
Okay.
That was very, very upfront.
There was something that happened to Ryleigh when we got that EVP. Why don't you tell them how you felt?
Well, I was with Ryan again in the Slater Mill by the museum doorway. they had a hard time keeping it closed because for some reason during the tour downstairs it would keep opening by itself. And you know that feeling when you turn around in the dark and you almost walk into something and you put your hands out to try to catch yourself from hitting it with your face? Well, that's what it felt like a force just came right at me, and I put my hands up because I thought it was going to hit me.
Like something in that person's space,
and
you know?
It was like, I know you're here. I'm like, okay. You knew I was here.
I know you're here.
And it was to the point where that shook me to the core, but I had to keep it together because we had Ryan there, and he was actually not even 5 feet from me when we captured this. So I wanted to make sure that he was going to be okay, and to move out of that area with him because I didn't want to put him in any kind of danger.
See, when you're using the real-time recorders, you know what I mean. You can hear what's happening. You can pick it up. So sometimes that's beneficial, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it adds to the whole eerie feeling and everything.
A lot of times, though, it is good to help you direct your investigation, but sometimes it does direct you right back out the door.
Yeah.
No, it did. It really did. I had to move from that side of the mill to another side just out of fear for my son because, I don't care if it bothers me or not because I'm used to this, but for our son, I just didn't want him in the path of whatever it was that was there. I knew that I was there. So, okay, we're going over here for a while. See if that stays over here and it follows us. Yeah.
You want to play the next one?
Okay, that one.
That was the one I was able to hear pretty clearly on my regular computer.
That one is actually bouncing around Blog Talk Radio all over the internet right now. That is a 5-second, but not even. Within that 5 second clip, it was 4 EVPs that ran all at once, and the most prominent one that came out was a child screaming for its mother in such a horrific way that anybody who's a parent or isn't, but I mean, you could actually feel it, and people who are parents can actually feel it more.
Yeah, the first time I heard it, I was like devastated. Just like it was very heart-wrenching.
It's a residual. It's not an intelligent. I actually sent it over to Mike Markowitz to make sure that I was hearing what I was hearing, and he called me up on the phone and said, "What are you doing? I don't want to hear this. This is just bad. Bad. You just want to reach your arms out and embrace that child and protect it from whatever."
There's nothing you can do.
That one's pretty bad. But yeah, you could actually hear in that EVP a dog barking, a child almost singing in the beginning to screaming in the middle for its mother, then a horrific scream toward the end.
So much on
You want to hit that one again, Matt?
And then you get that whisper at the end of the EVP too. Those are the ones that fall to the wayside when you're just a whisper and that's in danger.
And that wasn't recorded with a real-time device, and so we didn't even know it was happening when it happened. Like nobody heard that, you know what I mean? It's not like you can hear it.
Well, you can tell because you don't really hear anybody reacting to it.
Yeah.
All right, we have about 5 minutes here, so let's see if we can play the rest of these. What would you play the next one?
Wow. That one was standing in front of the doorway of Sylvania's Brown house on the outside. As the door was shut, I knocked on the door and said, "Sylvania's Brown, are you home? You want to play tag?" And it came back and it answered me, "Tag, you're it." And it said something else afterwards that we can't even make
really
out.
That first part, you can definitely hear it say, "Tag, you're in."
Yeah,
And that's an intelligent response.
We're going to keep moving because I want to get through them. So if anybody wants to go back into the podcast and listen to that one again, and you guys have these up on your
we have them
website,
on the website, yeah.
blackcrossparanormal.com. So why don't we play the next one, Matt?
you could hear Carl Johnson talking in the background. This was at a different time, and he's giving a lecture. And actually, I set the recorder down and walked about 20 feet away from it, and something hit it. And you could hear the ping, and then it goes, who gives a F-bomb, you know? So, it's toward Carl. And these are the wise guys. These are definitely the wise guys. No, it says, who gives a, you know.
That's that one. Sorry, we got so many.
No, I understand.
The wise guys are terrible. Foul mouth.
We're looking forward to talking with them next week. We got one more to play?
28. Oh, well, guess what? Down to 2. Someone's just right here.
That's our son Ryan. As a matter of fact, he was holding the millimeter inside the Serenian's Brown house in the kitchen area. Joe Chin from GHI was there. And I did a little provocation, and with the spirit box, it kept saying it was hungry, tired, it wanted to eat. And I said, no, I'm not going to feed you. Make it yourself, and I don't care if you're tired. Well, it came right into the circle. It lit everybody's K2 up. The millimeter, when he heard it, it said 28. It jumped to 28.7, and then it went right back down to 2. So whatever it was, it came into our circle, and it said, I'll whip you, girl. You ain't the devil. And you could hear the you ain't the devil in such a deep, dark tone to it. You ain't the devil.
That's right at the beginning.
Yeah. So, women didn't talk like that back in the 1700s. They didn't. They mind what their husband told them to do, and they didn't give no lip. So you give a little lip back to the people who are there, still there, and
they don't want to hear it.
They're not used to that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for playing those clips. And again, if anybody wants to go back and listen to them again, you can do so either on our podcast, or you can go to blackcrossparanormal.com. That's where you can reach Ryleigh and Stephen to find out more about their work and to see some of their cases. And of course, you can also see them at a variety of different events around. You guys were at the Ocean State Paracon today.
Yes, we were.
What's coming up next on the docket?
Okay, we got the British Beer Company in Walpole, Mass. We're going to be hunting with Mike Markowitz from Bay State Paranormal, and Pete and Donna Stagman from Para Hunters, and our team as well. And we're going to be doing 2 live radio shows during the investigation, so you got to come and check that out.
It's never been investigated.
Yeah, but there's a lot of haunts.
I can't go.
Well, you know, you'll hear it.
I've been banned from the British Beer Company.
No.
In Walpole?
Long story.
Oh, we got to hear about
the whole
that.
chain.
You go home now.
And then we have Southcoast Psychic Fair on Saturday.
Yeah, coming up this Saturday from 11 to 7 at the Seaport Inn right here in Fairhaven. Admission is only $9 if you buy your tickets online. $10 on the day of the show. And like Black Cross Paranormal will be there, and I know most of the people in this room are going to be there. And I'll be there. I'll be hosting it again as I did last time. And there's going to be John Brightman, Keith and Sandra Johnson. Let's see who else. Brian Hanwha is going to be there. Shannon Sylvia. It's just a huge slate of special guests and all kinds of paranormal groups. And of course, there's also people who sell things related to the field, so you can go check some of that stuff out.
Oh, it's really cool.
It definitely, and it's 11 to 8, 11 to 7. It's 2 different times. It's on the website. I have to ask Steve exactly which ones it is. But I know that all the lectures are happening earlier in the day, and then at 7 o'clock we're going to be showing the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, right on. I haven't done a time warp dance since I was in my late teens.
You're going to have to bring the props, and I don't know if you'll be able to throw stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see why not. Come dressed up. Everybody has a great time. It's a great event. So come on and check that out next Saturday morning, starting at 11 a.m. at the Seaport Inn Marina here in Fairhaven. The website is scparanormalfair.com. That's fair with an E, scparanormalfair.com. And then after that, Legend Trips event, the Slater Mill, Graveyard Trip and Slater Mill event is happening next Saturday night from 6 p.m. till 2 a.m. Tickets are $99 to come out and investigate one of the most notorious haunts in Rhode Island. The Spooky Crew, Jeff Belanger, Keith and Carl Johnson, Amy Bruni from Ghost Hunters, Andrew Lake. We're going to have Pam Padalano there and Tiffany Rice giving readings for those who want to purchase them. We're going to be taping a live episode of 30-odd minutes, dinner, and just hours of investigation. It's going to be a phenomenal time. If you've ever been to any of our Legend Trips events, you know that it's all about making sure that you have a great experience. We can't guarantee you a ghostly experience, but we can guarantee you a great time. And so we will do that next Saturday night. Just go to SpookySouthcoast.com or LegendTrips.com in order to purchase your tickets. And then stay tuned to LegendTrips.com because we'll be announcing our next event coming up shortly. We have another one happening this August at a very familiar spot in Fall River. That's always a very limited limited amount of tickets sold, so you want to pay attention to that so you don't miss your chance. And we're working on some other stuff as well, some really cool ideas we've been bouncing around, and we should have those announced a little bit later on this year. So next week, we won't be here, obviously, myself and Matt Moniz. Matt Costa will be here manning the ship, and he'll have Chris Balzano along, our content director, will be co-hosting. Their guest will be Derek Gunn, who is just a fascinating speaker talking about New England legends and lore. He'll be here talking with Chris and Matt, and then perhaps also one of the captains from Wicked Tuna, the new show on Nat Geo as well. So it's going to be a fabulous show next week. I'm sorry I'm going to miss it. I'm going to have to try to listen on my phone. So until next week, for Matt Costa, from Matt Moniz, for Chris Balzano, I'm Tim Weisberg. We want you all to stay spectacular.
And sports. This is WBSM New Bedford, AM 1420. WBSM.